I have the greatest team in the world. Thank you so much. And again, the last thing I want to say, immigrants built this country, literally. So this is for them, for all children of immigrants. This is also for those who came to this country in search of better opportunity, to be a part of a nation that promised freedom for all and equal opportunity to everyone willing to work for it. Thank you for bringing your culture, your music, your stories, and your traditions here. You give America color. I love y'all so much. Thank you.
They say Negro, okay, all Negroes. We're Pan-African. We want to help everybody. When Marcus Garvey came over, we made Marcus Garvey a thing over here. We gave Marcus Garvey international clout. When other people come over, we embrace them. In fact, when immigrant groups came over here, it was us fighting for immigrant groups. Even in the early 1900s, around 1915, it was black people fighting for immigrants to come over here from the Caribbean, because the white supremacists had all types of rules and statutes that they didn't want black people coming over here. Speaking of Marcus Garvey, it was Booker T. Washington to help get Marcus Garvey to come over here.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of folks don't know that. In the 1960s, there was foundational black Americans using the momentum from the civil rights movement, fighting to get immigrants over here from Africa and the Caribbean, because we wanted them to come over to be reinforcements for us. You see,
immigrants did not build America. Slaves and their descendants, Black Americans, built America, like quite literally with their hands, okay? Let me explain to you the issue with Shabuzi's Grammy speech. Let me start by saying that immigrants have greatly enriched this country, okay? We would not be where we are without them. However, they did not build America. And I think this is such an important distinction to make during Black History Month, because the comment, immigrants built America, is rooted in the erasure of Black contribution, okay? Specifically, Black American contribution, however involuntary it was. I understand that Shabuzi was coming from a good place when he said that immigrants built this country, but historically and factually, it is incorrect, baby. Chattel slavery built this country. And it is important to recognize that. People don't want to talk about slavery, but the reality is that slavery in the cotton economy is what gave America its legs, baby. There would be no America without slavery. The enrichment that is immigration did not come until significantly after slavery, right? Slavery dates back to the 1600s, girl, okay? All the way until 1865, where we get the Emancipation Proclamation. And even after this point, there were some Black people who were still being held captive as slaves because they just didn't get the news yet, girl, okay? So when you think about that, how long slavery spanned, okay? And the fact that we get ushered into Reconstruction and Jim Crow, and slaves are now repurposed as sharecroppers, right? Or repurposed into roles in which they are only good for service. They are only good for, functional positions that help prop up the country, not actual careers, not anything actually profitable. Like literally, Black people simply migrated from slavery into something else until we get into the civil rights era. For the people who think that we're arguing semantics, not only is this an important distinction to make so that we are recounting American history and Black history accurately, but also because the suppression of Black history, the erasure of Black history, okay, is what leads to the repetition of these atrocities, not on Black bodies, but onto others. And this idea that Black history and American history, when it repeats, that it's going to repeat with the same people, it does not. It does not. And I think we're seeing a little bit of the proof, but that will never, ever, ever change the fact that the biggest and greatest group affected by American history, affected by the American plight, and that actually built America is Black American descendants of slaves.
Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel, and we really appreciate for you have tuned to this channel. My name is Rin Jambi, and subscribe to our channel and like and comment. And guys, in our today's episode, in the words of United States of America, there is this rhetoric that has been made by one of the immigrants from Africa and and there has been a war between the black immigrants and the black Americans, the black African immigrants in the United States of America and black Americans, and they have been feeling like this rhetoric or this word, this phrase that has been made by this African immigrant American guy, that immigrants are the one who built the United States of America, whereby we are not opposing it and we don't reject it. Yes, because America is not just a nation of one hand. It's a nation whereby it has been built by so many hands. The whites has been there, the brown has been there, the blacks has been there. We cannot deny that. But now, like, giving out or not honoring the ancestors of black Americans who made America what it is right now, or who made Americans now to start again. Guys, it is so disrespectful, and that is how these black Americans are feeling. Like, we have given you policies, we have given you the place now to live, we have given you even the way, like, you can come into America and be enjoying being in America as a black, and you are not, like, it's not like before that. Now, guys, you are going through the racism that was there before. You are not going through the slavery that we guys as our ancestors went through the slavery. They built America with blood and with the sweat. They worked so hard. That's how they have been feeling. Like, black Americans have been feeling like they have been denied the right or the beauty or the history and the beauty of what the America is all about. The credit, they owe the credit. They owe the credit to the black Americans ancestors who made the America to what it is right now. So, guys, there have been a war in this rhetoric, and they have been feeling like, oh, this is so disrespectful. This is something that is not recommendable. We don't recommend this, and they are coming back in so many comments, in so many opinions, why you should be respectful to the ancestors of black Americans who made America to be what it is now, and who made America to be a home where now you can be an immigrant and you can go there in the United States of America and you enjoy being in America. Like, guys,
Immigrants built this country, literally. So this is for them, for all children of immigrants. This is also for those who came to this country in search of better opportunity, to be a part of a nation that promised freedom for all and equal opportunity to everyone willing to work for it. Thank you for bringing your culture, your music, your stories, and your traditions here. You give America color. I love y'all so much. Thank you.
So I've seen a few different takes from other foundational Black American creators who feel a way about what he said about immigrants building this country and not actually paying homage to the genre of music that actually created his success, which was country music, which is an American genre of music that was started by that was created from the foundational Black Americans, the freedmen. It really started from them, right? So that's the genre that gave him his success. I kind of have a hard time believing that he would have found success with that genre in his original country of Nigeria. I'm not sure how they would, if he would have found success with this type of music over there. I'm just saying. But at the same time, y'all, I'm kind of getting at this point where I don't even expect for immigrants, like if he's an immigrant, I don't even expect them to have any type of like love and like, just like, I don't expect them to have this feeling of love for America. And I know what you're probably thinking is probably like, well, why not? Why wouldn't they? Well, they wouldn't, because they're not really from here. Like, their lineage isn't from here. They see America as a lick. It's just about the business. Like he said, people come here seeking a better life, seeking opportunities, basically opportunities that they don't have in their homeland. This is just the land of opportunity for them. So they don't really care how the opportunity comes about. They don't care where the opportunity technically derived from. All they care about is that the opportunity is there and that they're going to take advantage of it and use it to their benefit. That doesn't necessarily make him a bad person. That doesn't make anybody really a bad person, but it also just lets you know their stance. And like, well, you got to understand, like, they're not over here for any benefit other than their self and sending money back home or just doing whatever they have to do to better their own life. But this also shows you that there isn't any real reason for you to really advocate for anybody other than your own lineage also. And I'm not saying that to be divisive, but I feel like what he said was also extremely divisive because he's paying homage to immigrants and not giving any homage or respect to the people who the music genre actually came from and the people who actually did build the country before people started flocking over here in droves because the country was already presenting an opportunity to them. But he had nothing to say about that. All I'm trying to do is get you to pay attention. Let's let the emotions go. We don't need to attach any emotion to any of these people. That we shouldn't. There should be no emotional attachment at all. Just understand where you stand and just move accordingly. I don't really think that his speech about America being built by immigrants, I don't really think that it was a slight against Black Americans. I don't think that he was intentionally trying to like push our lineage off to the side as if we just didn't matter at all. I think that what he was actually doing was slighting all of this shit that's going on with this immigration, deportation, detainment, ICE raids, and all of that. I actually think that it was a direct slight against that. And I think that's the reason why he said it. But I also think that it was just a bad chess move because at the end of the day, I don't really know what his fan base is like, but my assumption would be because of the genre is country music, I would assume that it's mostly non-immigrant Americans who are buying and listening to his music. So the smart chess move would have been for him to pay homage to the predecessors and the people who started the genre of music and who gave him the opportunity. That would have been the smart chess move in a business sense.
Black people are not immigrants. Therefore, immigrants did not build this country. Enslaved Black people built this country. Verbiage is everything. And it's very important that we nip this in the bud now because this is exactly how history gets rewritten and erasure happens. Someone coming to a country to seek asylum or just because they want a better life for them and then the family that comes after them is not the same as enslaved people being captured and brought to a country as a commodity and exploited for that same work. I will not stand by and have y'all try to lump my ancestors into a category of immigrant as if they had a choice to come here. That's literally how history gets erased. Double backing on verbiage is everything. It is very important for young children to not sit up here and see and hear Black people being called as immigrants. Because what are they going to grow up to do? They're going to grow up to think of Black people as, oh, they came here willingly. Like slavery wasn't that bad. They were here and they just came here for a better life. No. And what are they going to teach their children and their children's children and their children? Once again, that's how history gets rewritten. Need I remind y'all, a lot of other races of people would not be able to come here had our ancestors and relatives not fought for civil rights. Like, y'all just act like civil rights just was like, that just wasn't a thing. That was freaking huge. Like, are y'all kidding me? And now y'all trying to sit up here and erase us as if like we just migrated over here for no. Immigrants may be at the forefront of doing the services and labor that Americans feel like they're too good to do, but those same services keep the country going. However, they did not build this country. Let's not do that. That's what we are just not gonna do.
Yo, what it do? This video is in response to the Nigerian and American country artist Shabuzi. I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He made a statement on the Grammys about this country being built by immigrants. That's a narrative that's been perpetuated. I want to just say this. Just be careful not to absorb certain narratives, especially that one, because we know there were indigenous people, my people, our ancestors who were considered Native American, or however, that's a misnomer. They were already here. We didn't come on a boat. Some were prisoners of war. Some were in indentured servitude. Some were simply just conquer people, you know. So there's a lot of different people, I'll say, who helped build the country we're in. So to say we're all immigrants is a false narrative. That's crazy. So don't believe anything he's saying in regards to that. And I want to speak on this too. He was speaking from an emotional standpoint, just like many people do. And when you speak from an emotional standpoint, it's easy for others to adopt it because it's emotionally charged. But we cannot overlook the fact that emotion tends to override logic, and you got to do your own research. And you know off the break that that's a blanket widespread statement. If you're not specific in what you feel and say, you're going to get broad results. And this is what they do. They utilize our frequency and our energy. And when you think thoughts of the popular or the mass, when you adopt the mass populated ideologies and whatnot, you find yourself in a perpetual state of the same experiences. That's how they get you with frequency. So what you think, you feel, you project. And when, same thing with police shootings or whatever they want to show us, ICE, whatever, it's all emotionally charged at the end of the day. But there are organizations operating inhumanely who need to be persecuted, and they need to face the wrath or the consequences. That's why we're really upset. So with that being said, the anger is not improper. It's being misdirected and is being aligned with statements, you know what I'm saying, and thought patterns that will keep you on a frequency, once again, of bearing the results of what the frequency wants you to bear. And don't think there's not entities out here governing and engineering narratives through media. You know what I mean? You got American terrorism, et cetera, et cetera. I can go on and on and on. But back on this topic, immigrants did not create or coin or, build this country. First of all, everything that you think that you created was already here before you got here. And that's beyond comprehension. Those who know. Whether it was stolen, hidden, destroyed, whatever. Anything that you think you're building and creating is not new under the sun. We're very advanced people. All this rock and spear talk about guns. I mean, there were beings on this planet that had utensils, weapons. Look at the pyramids, man. Get out of here, man. You got cities under the water. Get out of here, man. Ancient place. Get out of here, man. We are so far behind technology. Y'all think the phone and cloning and teleporting and time travel, man. I ain't gonna go into it. That's the most blanket misnomer. No, I ain't gonna say that. That's the most absurd, ignorant ass statement or even thought to have. And when I mean ignorant, I don't mean no offense, but if you don't know, you don't know. If you're not tapped in with frequency, you're not tapped in with your memory of being reincarnated, that's on you. I'm just saying. For y'all to think that everything we have right now, flying cars were already a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what? It's backwards. We're like living backwards. Immigrants built the country. Get out of here, man. Anyway, that's my response to that. Middle finger to all negativity, and don't believe the hype. The public enemy will say.
African American, Asian, and other communities realize that they share the same oppressor is the day we start winning. Because we are the majority in this country.
But we know.
We have the ability to take over this country and to do what is needed for everyone and to make things fair.
We know.
But the problem is our communities are divided. They're completely divided. And I talk about this all the time, is that like for Asian Americans and for African Americans, we probably have one of the worst relationships between any community.
Well, I bet you a lot of Asian Americans too don't, in my experience, don't even realize that if it wasn't for the civil rights movement, if it wasn't for that,
yes,
there would not be 22 million Asian Americans in this country.
Hello.
Thank you. And what I have been trying to teach the Asian community is like, friends, do you understand that your success, your prosperity, your civil rights that you enjoy right now was paid for with black blood? Yes.
The thing is that we know. We've always known. And we sang it from the rooftops. But people just don't want to listen because they want to be the model minority, especially the Asians. I've seen multiple videos of Asians saying that they were taught that they needed to align themselves with whiteness uphold white supremacy so that they could be the model minority and get more benefits and have a easier, successful life when they migrate here. All of the other immigrants, I don't even know what they think. I don't know, but it seems like everybody generally, they're told to avoid us. They're told that we're bad. They believe the negative stereotypes and the negative propaganda that they see when they're back home praying and dying and wishing to come over to America. They see these negative images of us. They see us on TV fighting, and they're only shown negativity. So it doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter how many of us that they meet that's successful, literal millionaires, 100,000aires, business owners, holding multiple degrees, rearing children successfully, living in beautiful neighborhoods. It doesn't matter. They still want to compete with us because they want to be better. They feel like we're ungrateful and we don't deserve what we have. And an immigrant told me this earlier on a panel. And ultimately, it seems like they just don't like us. Now, not every single individual person from these communities have or share these same sentiments, but enough do, to whereas it's like the collective. So we know this. We know. But do they know? And maybe they'll hear it and receive it better coming from someone that looks more like them. Spread love is the Brooklyn way.
Something that Black Americans need to stop doing in 2026. We need to stop giving unlimited access to Black culture. Case in point, Nicki Minaj. We have accepted her into our culture. The moment she thinks she makes it big, she goes over to the other side. And then what happens? When they're done with you, just like Candace, just like Omarosa, they throw you to the side. I have the same way kind of feeling about the new mayor of New York. As much as I think he's going to do some great things, he said something that made me think. He said, we need to focus on the plight of Muslim Americans. And he goes, we can do things for the other races, but we need to focus on that. And for me, I thought about, if it wasn't for Black Americans in our fight, you wouldn't even be able to have a plight. So we need to be careful of who we give unlimited access to our culture, because when they make it or when things go bad, they disregard us. And like always, have the day you deserve.
Across this app, I keep seeing people ask Black Americans, what have immigrants ever done to you? So here's the truth, because we are not going to keep pretending immigrants are automatically innocent just because supremacy is the bigger villain. Yes, immigration has caused harm to the Black American community. Not every immigrant, not only immigrant, and not always with intent, but measurable harm has happened. Economically, many employers have chosen immigrant labor at lower wages instead of hiring Black workers at fair wages. That choice has reduced opportunities for Black workers in the job sectors where we have historically been concentrated. That is a harm. Politically, as immigrant populations grew, major parties shifted their promises, their attention, and resources toward new voting blocs. The Black agenda has been repeatedly deprioritized as politicians calculate numbers rather than loyalty. That is harm. Culturally, Black American creativity has been used globally as a resource, while Black Americans are erased as origin. At the same time, many immigrants adopt negative stereotypes about Black Americans when they arrive because they learn quickly that distancing from us provides social benefits in this system. That is a harm. Geographically, the pattern is the same across multiple cities. Long-standing Black neighborhoods lost their population share and cultural control as new communities with greater economic leverage moved in. Gentrification and repopulation, and both resulted in Black displacement. That is a harm. Socially, immigrants did not enter a neutral landscape. They entered a country with an existing racial order that rewards those who rise above Black Americans, whether conscious or not. Many participated in that reward structure. That is a harm. And the only reason this conversation is treated like a taboo is because Black Americans are allowed to blame supremacy, but not allowed to acknowledge lateral harm from anyone else. We are allowed to hurt. We are just not allowed to name who contributed to the harm unless the answer is people. That is not hate. That is not xenophobia. That is not jealousy. It is displacement layered on top of sacrifice. Black Americans built what we built under terror and brutality, and everyone else arrived and benefited from that foundation. And when we say protect our share, protect our identity, protect our cultural space, we are told we do not get to decide. That is a harm. No one is asking immigrants to leave this country. Well, some people are, but I'm not. Not all of us are. No one is asking immigrants to undo history or carry guilt for what they didn't personally do. What is being asked, and has always been asked, is simple. Acknowledge the part you play in continuing the harm, whether you meant to or not. This has always been about accountability and acknowledgement. If accountability feels like an attack, ask yourself why you're willing to abandon being the harmed class in your own country just to become part of the system that harms us in this one.
Well, this is going to ruffle some feathers, but I'd like to read a book. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the JEWs, and I did not speak out because I was not a JEW. And then they came for me. And there was no one left to speak for me. This was written by a Protestant pastor during the Holocaust, and it still rings true today. See, xenophobia is a tool of white supremacy. It is, and it always has been. And you have allowed your xenophobia, your need to delineate, to fuel you and Black Americans to be tethered to our version of oppression. This is not an aha moment. This is not an I told you so moment. This is deeply terrifying. Because while there is a country for me to be deported back to, this hate and hatred for immigrants that has distracted you into forgetting that you have always been their true enemy is what has led to them now having a tool to displace and disenfranchise even more Black Americans. Please understand that. Look at the cities that are being hit. These are not cities that have a high Black immigrant population. These are Black American cities. Wake up. They simply use your hate for us to distract you while they created this perfect weapon to use against you. And you help them. Please understand that.
So there's something I want to say around the topic of Black Americans and then immigrants. I'm seeing lots of videos from Black Americans urging Zohran Mamdani, new mayor of New York, soon to be, to not forget about Black Americans, because in his speech, and this is also something I noticed, he did talk about all of like a bunch of the immigrant communities in New York and how they built New York. And he completely neglected Black Americans. I'm not from New York, I'm from Massachusetts, but even here and all over the country, I have seen how local government always deprioritizes Black Americans specifically. Now, I don't think electing Zohran Mamdani was a mistake. I really like him, even though I will not benefit from his policies. I'm very happy he won, and I hope more people like him go up to become leaders in this country. But I also urge them not to forget or deprioritize Black Americans. The Black American experience is different from the immigrant experience, even if it's a Black immigrant. Two different experiences. And on a statistical level, so this is data, this is not me making it up, Black Americans are deprioritized below immigrants. And that's not immigrants' fault. That is literally just how the system works. And because of that, I see so much division when it comes to Black Americans and immigrants, because it's hard to look past someone who's new to this country, getting certain benefits or policies or programs that you have either needed or waited for and still have yet to get, even though you've been here your whole life. It's hard for them to look past that and see that what's really the issue is the system. And then on the flip side, what I see, and again, this is not me saying all Black Americans, all immigrants, but on the flip side, what I'll see are immigrants will come to this country and they will rise above the odds, which is amazing. But then they'll look back at Black Americans and say, well, if I did it, why can't you? Are you just lazy? And then that whole dynamic just pits Black Americans and immigrants against each other, which I hate. People need to remember that because of chattel slavery, it was Black Americans who were stolen from their own land and brought here. We laid the foundation. We laid the foundation for you to come here and then build on top of that. So yes, saying immigrants built this country is not wrong, but completely ignoring that Black Americans laid the foundation for them and then also built alongside them, that's what the message should have been. I really hope, because I saw his team, Zoran Mamdani's transition team, and I know it's all women, but I don't think I saw any Black Americans specifically on there. I do hope that he gets someone on his team who is a Black American, I would say a Black American woman, who can advise him on how to approach and help our community. Even though, again, I'm not from New York. I'm just saying, like, the community in New York. Because it's just different. It is different from the immigrant experience. And I hope all leaders who are coming up in this country also just remember that.
Earlier I got on today and I was pretty hot at Shabuzi and all the Shabuzis in the world who claim that immigrants built this country. Okay. It's starting to appear to me, and I said this earlier, but I was a little bit hot-headed at the time, and I don't want to come off hot-headed, but this really pissed me off, and it's still pissing me off. But it just appears to me that people like Shabuzi and the rest who believe immigrants built this country are doing this to support white supremacy. And the reason why I say this, and I know it sounds odd, but first of all, let me say one of the reasons. The reason why they're saying this is because they want a certain narrative and they want to rebrand the country, right? They want to rebrand the country. But here's another reason, and this right here really, they are continuously promoting white supremacy, like they made a deal. I know you're like, how in the world is that? We're saying immigrants built this country. Immigrants. Well, because Europeans were immigrants. All of white America descended from immigrants. See what I'm saying? White America had countries, full countries, prior to coming over here. Yeah, they're immigrants. They had full everything before coming over here. Mm-hmm. Voluntarily. And they all did it to make a better life. See? Same thing today's immigrants do, right? And to come over here just like the European immigrants did, and to not even give credit to the indigenous at all. You're doing the same exact thing. Same exact thing. And to lie and rewrite history. I'm telling you, when I look at them when they say this, and I'm not joking, when I look at them when they say this, I feel like I'm looking at the same people. I feel like I'm looking at the same lying behind spirit. When immigrants say exactly and do exactly what white Americans are doing. This is a land of immigrants. This is a land of immigrants. Built by immigrants. Built by immigrants. Built by immigrants. Knowing full well the indigenous and Black America did the building. Full well. Full well. It's almost as if they planned it together. I know it's not, because there is no freaking way that you can come over into another country that was founded in 1776 and fully functioning before it even became a global superpower, fully functioning, and say that you built it. when the stuff that was built in the United States of America created the cities and the towns that we live in today. Meaning that Black America built these freaking towns. Black America built the cities you live in today. To come over into the United States of America and say that immigrants did that. It just leads me to believe that you're saying white immigrants. And then it leads me to believe that you're supporting the enslavement of Black Americans, which leads me to believe that that is the reason for the vote, why the vote was so split. I could be wrong, but to get your behind in front of a microphone and say immigrants built this country, being a person who just got over here, the way I'm just too angry to even finish. I tried. I had to take the other video down. The way I'm so angry right now. I'm gonna have to stop this video. I'm gonna leave this one up. I'm gonna have to stop this video because I'm gonna end up saying some junk, and I'm not gonna apologize for it because my mama raised me. Whatever the flip I say, I'm supposed to mean. Okay, and that's just it. I think before I speak, so I need to get up off this right now.
As we can see that this rhetoric has been made by this Black American African. Yes, he's an immigrant from Nigeria. At least you have a home. At least you have a place that you can call home. That when you are deported, you can go back to Africa. Asians, you can go back to Asia. Europe, you can go back to Europe. And any other continent, you can go back to your nation, to your continent, and all that. But these Black Americans, that their home, that their place, that is where they know that they belong. They don't belong to any other continent. Yes, that is how they have been feeling, and they've been out for so long, and they're feeling like we are the people who has given you even their identity. We have given you our history. We have given you our color, even to walk with, because you are respected here in America, because our people went and they did demonstrations. They fought this monster of racism. They fought to be discriminated. They fought the equality, that they can be there, an equality back in United States of America. But we cannot forget that even the immigrants, they have made America also to be what it is, or great in one way or the other, because they have been the laborers. Yes, and the Americans, they've been feeling like you came and you took away our jobs. You came and we gave you the platform and you took away our job, because whereby now you've been taken cheaply and you have made us not to enjoy the work or the labor of what our fathers did. You have come and you are eating the fruit of what our fathers labored for. And that is what they have been living like. They have been feeling like they have been left out. Another thing is economically, like these people has been feeling, yes, there's no an employment for the Black Americans, whereby now the immigrants have taken over all and every labor that is needed to be done. Whatever is needed to be done in United States of America, the immigrant has taken over now over the Black Americans. Not politically, like they've been feeling like they have been ditched out by these Black immigrants, or by the immigrants. They have been complaining like Why are the ICs taking us and you're not even responding? You're not even giving us the support and all this. But now you're forgetting, like, you were the first people, or you are the first people that supported the white supremacy. You're the first people that you yapped and you went on the votes and you supported the policies which are now oppressing you immigrants right this moment. And the Black Americans were not there, because now the history, they know the history, they know what they want, because that's their nation and all that. But you, as you are doing it, you are doing it for you to be in a business. But to them, they were doing it because of their integrity. They were doing it for who they are. They were doing it because that's their home, that's where they belong. So they want the policies which they will support them. That's what has been discussed, or that's what has been happening in United States of America. And guys, we don't know whether this rhetoric has been used by the politicians, whereby they do take the politics, they do take the things of the ratio as a tool. As I always say, like, many people don't know, like, the politicians will always take a ratio or something as a tool to divide, and once they divide you, they know that they have already won. Before they have even gone to the ballot to vote, they have already won, because they have already divided you. And when the divisions come now between the blacks, because the difference between you is the history, and yes, you don't need to be so identical, you don't need to be identical, you don't have to come from one historical point, or from one historical place, but be feeling like they have one common enemy, or they have something one common. They have black color, and by this they have now to come together and fight this rhetoric of racist which has been erupting, or which has been coming up. Like, they should now be together and fight one battle. And once you show the Black Americans that you are there for them, for sure these people, they are trained, or they have that genes of coming out and fighting for you. And they have fought for themselves in a very harsh environment, and they have already won. They are there because they fought. Yes, and now, like, do not be used by these politicians, whereby you divide yourself, you bring the division amongst yourselves. Yes, you don't have, and as I was saying, like, you don't have now to be called one, but just know that you have the one enemy to fight, because you'd be discriminated, you'd be called all those apes and all that in United States of America, whether you are black, because they don't even tell the difference whether you are a Black American, whether you are a Black African American immigrant. I don't know, but there will be no difference. So you'll suffer the same consequences. So guys, it's a high chance, or it's a high time now, whereby don't take these things rightly. Don't take it rightly. Don't be lied to. Like, you, immigrant, who you are the one, you're the only one who made the America to be what it is. Just know that America was built by the slavery regime, and these people, they worked so hard, they were not paid, they were not given food, no water, no house. You have gone there to a place where it is already built. You're working, yes, but you're not working as a slave, because you are paid. These people, they were not paid. The Black Americans' ancestors were not paid to work and to build it, to make what America is. And that's where now the rage is coming from. That's how they have been feeling, like, our parents did it. We also went to the street, and we demonstrated, and we fought for the policies whereby I go to the hospital, I will be treated the same. If my child will go to school, I'll be treated the same. My child will not be bullied like he is a black, who will be treated like same. And all this, they fought for all that, and they gave you crowd, they gave you a name, they gave you even their identity. Yes, they gave you their culture, and you have been riding with their culture, you have been thriving with their culture, and now coming back and feeling like you don't belong to that group of Black Americans. Now you have ditched them and you have joined white supremacy. That's a betrayal in a way. That's so disrespectful. And now coming back now onto these celebrities who have come with these rhetorics. Like lately we have been seeing how Nicki Minaj did and what she did, and she was doing it for her to get the identification, or for her to be a citizen of United States of America. And this is where now she drew the line. Like she joined the people who have been fighting them. As you know very well that they cannot find a white person listening or supporting your rapping thing or your songs. They don't do that. But now you have gone, you have sold your identity, you have sold your respect, you have sold what you have been built for long and what has been supported by these blacks, and you have given it out because you only want to have money, and you only want to be that good and to be that great. But forgetting that there'll be no time where the white or the MAGA regime will ever partner with a black person. Yes, and that's the thing that you are now supposed to sit down and fight. Yes, and now coming back now to this Nigerian man, because he comes from Nigeria, he is called Shaboze, and platform, and you felt like you are the migrant, or you're the builder of United States of America. That's so disrespecting, because you cannot imagine, you cannot be a builder and the credit you give it to somebody else who is coming and riding on your color, riding on what you have built on, and they're the one who are getting all these privileges. Guys, it's not something that is good. And now it's a high chance now, and it is a sacrifice. It will take sacrifice. It will take a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom. It will take a lot of discernment, deeper discernment of who you are as black and why you are there as a black, and the reason why the America is what it is right now. You have not to go back and to run and to lead what the history holds for the America to be what it is, for you not to forget yourself, for you not to forget the work that was done, for you not to forget the respect that you should give to these people. And once you forget the history, just know that you don't have a future, because you don't have something now to relate to. You don't have something to maintain and to sustain. You don't have something to fight for, because we all go back to the slavery, because you forgot that you fought for you not to go back to that slavery. So guys, there's a high chance whereby the black Americans, immigrants, or all immigrants know that you have one enemy, you have one problem, you have one thing to fight, and it's a high chance you take that. Yes, thank you so much for watching.